Joe Burrow is back leading the offense, and Bengals fans have one question. Is this roster finally gets the Bengals over and back to the Super Bowl? Tonight, we're breaking down the biggest storylines heading into camp, our players to watch, and making some bold predictions that might age terribly by September. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Cincinnati Sports Scene podcast. I am Dave. He is Sam. And tonight, we're talking nothing but Bengals football. Training camp officially begins today. Position battles are everywhere. Expectations here in the Queen City couldn't be higher. And we're giving you the storylines every Bengals fan should be watching this week. If you're excited for football season, do us a favor, like this video, subscribe, join the conversation in the comments. Post your answer to this question. Which Bengal has the most to prove during training camp? Let's get into it with episode number 178. All right, we're back, and it is Bengals training camp official day number 1. So we have 5 big storylines that are entering camp today. So our first one obviously is Joe Burrow, right? Is he completely healthy? Which all indications says he is from his last injury. He came back last year towards the end of the year just to prove that he was healthy. So hopefully he is completely healthy. So the question is, can he play at another MVP level?
Yeah, he definitely can. He's going to have to if the Bengals want to win. I mean, we know the defense isn't good enough to carry him, so he's going to have to be a top 3 to top 5 MVP type of guy. The Bengals are going to win the division and make a run in the playoffs. And as we've seen, that isn't even necessarily enough. So
that is true. A couple of things, coming from Burrow, what I, like heading into the camp. I mean, he has publicly stated that he needs to be a more vocal leader. And I think, that's important, especially in this stage in his career and where he wants this franchise to go and what he wants his legacy to be. And I think, it's evident by what the Bengals did this offseason, I think, to address some of the concerns that Joe had. Thoughts on Burrow being more vocal leader, and how does that look?
I mean, it's something we've seen him do a little bit. He's always been more of a lead by example guy, but I think the quarterback position, you do kind of have to be, you don't have to be the absolute vocal leader, but you do for the offense. If you look at some of the great teams of the past, a lot of the vocal leaders come from the defensive side of the ball because that's just more, how the defense works, right? The rah-rah is more on the defensive end of things. But you do need your quarterback to not be afraid to get in guys' faces, right? We've seen, Tom Brady was not afraid to get in a guy's face when they messed up, offense or defense. Even Peyton Manning did it too. We don't think of Peyton Manning as being that. We think of him being the Joker, but he would get in guys' faces as well. I mean, we watched a lot of Colts games when we lived in Indiana because that's what was on the TV. And I mean, he would get in guys' faces too.
Well, I mean, the most famous, incidents where
Jeff Saturday,
right?
Yeah.
And Jeff Saturday even talks about it, right?
Just do your job.
Right, right. Yeah. You just
stuff like that. You need your quarterback to do that. You can't rely on a defensive guy to talk to the offense like that. You can't rely on your head coach to always be that guy, especially because Zach Taylor's not really that guy either. So it kind of has to be your quarterback. It can only go so far if it's your center or if it's a receiver. It doesn't mean as much if it's not coming from the quarterback.
Right. And I think, he's not going to be that, like you said, in your face type of guy, grab the face mask, yell, and, throw people under the bus. Right. But I do think when something goes wrong, instead of sitting there on the bench with his iPad and just looking, he will get up.
You ran the wrong route here.
Yeah. He will definitely get into somebody's face. And if he keeps getting sacked by, the interior line, he might have to go over there and kick him in the shins one time or another just to say, hey, come on. It hurts back here. Let's go. So yeah, I hope being a more vocal leader transpires into more people, more players wanting to hold themselves accountable for their play and to, for a better word, to please Joe Burrow, right? And I think that's what people did with Tom Brady. After he won a couple of Super Bowls, people were, Belichick was always there because if they didn't perform, they knew he was gone. They were gone. I mean, it didn't matter if it was preseason, game 1, game 16.
It didn't matter if you had 4 touchdowns the previous game.
Right, exactly. You're
practice.
You're gone. You're gone. I mean,
yeah.
So so they always did, but there was also part of that team that knew if they weren't holding up their end of the bargain, Brady would be in their ear first, and then Belichick. So hopefully it's something similar to that, I guess, style of leadership where Burrow will say stuff when it's going well and he'll say stuff when it's going wrong. And sometimes he needs to be a little, adamant on the sideline and kick something over, when things aren't going well, especially when he's not playing well, right? He needs to let people know that he is not happy with his performance. And, that's the thing that he needs to do. So, speaking of how, the Bengals go, Burrow goes, we got to talk about the O-line, because how Burrow goes, I think the O-line has to go. Did they do enough? I mean, I know they brought everybody back. Can they improve this unit? And will they give Burrow enough time to throw the dang ball?
I think so. I mean, if you look at the second half of last year, and I hate to say it, but when you look at when Browning and Flacco were quarterbacking, they've had plenty of time to throw. Part of it is on Joe. He likes to hold the ball and try and make things happen.
He does.
So we just have to accept that his sack numbers are always going to be a little higher just because of the way he plays.
Mm-hmm.
It puts a little extra stress on the offensive line. Now, I mean, that Super Bowl year, that offensive line was absolutely brutal. But the past couple of years, the line has not been bad. It's just a combination of, Zach Taylor, how he schemes when Burrow's the quarterback, and how Burrow likes to play.
Mm-hmm.
His sack numbers are going to be higher than some of the other elite quarterbacks. They just are. I think we have to accept that.
Right.
And that's kind of where I'm at now. I've accepted that. So as long as it's more middle of the pack and not leading the league in sacks, and he's not getting destroyed off the blind side, he can at least kind of protect himself a little bit when he gets sacked. I'm okay with it.
Well, I'm hoping that it's not one of these 5-6 sack games, right? If he gets sacked, one time a game, maybe 2 times, a game here and there, we can live with that. But, when Pittsburgh comes at you, when, Baltimore comes at you, and it's like 5-6 sacks in a game, you're like, come on now. We've got to, that's what I hope the line does, is they improve that as far as allowing Burrow to take a sack. And I think Karras has to be the voice of the offensive line, and he needs to turn around to Burrow, if he's holding the ball 6-7 seconds, and say, you got to get rid of the damn ball because it looks bad on us. Get rid of the ball, throw it at somebody's foot, live for another day. Don't take a sack. Okay, and we're busting our ass here, and you're not doing anything. So that's that give and take. And I think Burrow and Karras have a good enough relationship that I think they feel comfortable. I think Teddy would feel comfortable doing that to Joe. I think, you need that, right? You need that from your offensive line as well, because if not, it'll be just this whole nother scenario where the media and everybody will be blaming the offensive line. And in reality, Burrow's holding the ball 6-7 seconds, and no quarterback can hold the ball that long in the NFL. So I totally agree with that. All right. Number 3 on the storyline list is, can the defense carry its weight? Obviously last couple of seasons, the defense was not, to put it nicely, championship caliber. So the Bengals did bring in some new additions, right? Sexy Dexy Lawrence, right?
Jonathan Allen.
Jonathan
Boy
Allen,
Mafe.
Boy Mafe,
Yeah,
Brian Cook.
safety.
Okay. Yeah.
No
So
linebackers though, which
no linebackers, which, that's the thing. The new additions are going to help, right? Which one do you think will help the most?
I think Dexter Lawrence. He'll command a double team every time, pretty much every snap. So hopefully, that frees up some room for these linebackers to make plays a little bit easier. They still have to make them. They still have to, read the gaps correctly, see which way the blockers are going, and, fill the hole correctly, which they did not do last year. That was part of their problem. So hopefully, another year of experience, another offseason to learn a little bit, another training camp to watch film and learn. That's just where it would have been nice to bring a veteran linebacker in that can actually play, show these guys how to be an NFL linebacker. Because if they're not going to make tackles, if they're not going to do things correctly, it doesn't matter if Dexter Lawrence is taking up a double team.
And that's why I think, to me, I think the most important piece, and I agree everything you said with Dexter Lawrence, and I think if they don't double team Dexter, he's going to get some sacks and he's going to stuff the run. But if they double team him and find the weaknesses in that second line of defense, that's why you brought in Brian Cook, the hometown kid,
tackle somebody that
tackle
hits the
somebody.
second level.
Exactly. And he and I think he's going to help Jordan Battle so much because he's not going to accept the mistakes, right?
Right, because he's not going to make them himself.
Right, he's not going to make them himself. So the past 2 years when he had Geno and who do we have last year?
Von Bell was back there last year again.
Yeah, Von Bell and
it was Geno Stone was the main.
Yeah, Geno.
He sucked. So.
Yeah, and you have people like that who make mistakes. They can't really.
You can't get on some guy for making a mistake when you're constantly making mistakes.
Right. So I think Brian Cook will be that, and he's coming from a championship pedigree, right, with the Kansas City Chiefs, a well-run organization. Spagnoli and his defensive schemes are legit. And I think the expectation is we are a champion. We need to be a championship caliber defense. And, from Cook and Dexter Lawrence, right? And if we can get any of that to rub off on the rest of these guys, watch out, because I think we can make some headway, I guess. Let's talk a little bit about the young pass rushers and just who steps up as our other pass rusher, right? I mean, we brought in Boya there to
replace Hendrickson.
Replace, and I don't think he's going to replace the amount of sacks that Trey accumulated. If he gets somewhere between 10 to 12 sacks.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, 10 to 12.
I think that would be ideal.
If your next guy, Stewart, makes some improvement, Murphy continues to improve, I think you can replace the production from Hendrickson. And then, the run defense by itself that
will improve.
Hendrickson didn't provide. It'll improve dramatically.
Right. So who steps up on the opposite side of Mafe there?
I think it'll be a combination of Stewart and Murphy. I think those are going to be the two guys that they roll with first. Cassius Howe will get his opportunities, especially early in the preseason, just to see what he's got. But Murphy and Stewart, those are 2 first-round picks. Murphy played the second half last year. Murphy finally looked like he knew what he was doing out there. I thought he looked pretty decent. So, I'm excited to see him hopefully take another step and be, a legitimately productive pass rusher. 8 sacks for him would be a great number, I think. Because, Stewart will get a handful. So if you got double-digit sack guys on either side, that's a pretty formidable pass rush, in my opinion. So
yeah, I think so too. My question or my concern is this. Murphy right now on the depth chart heading into the day, they have Murphy slotted at the right defensive end. Boya is the left. Stewart is backing up Boya, and then Cassius Howell's backing up Murphy. My question is, Murphy, the Bengals did not pick up his 5th-year option, right?
No.
So he's playing last contract, hopefully.
Right, he's playing for a contract now.
Playing for a contract. So the Bengals are going to give Stewart, they have to give him a ton of opportunity to see if he is going to be the heir apparent, right? Because if not, then you got to really go and get either another end next offseason, or you got to hope this, our second round pick, Cassius Howell, turns into something. So, I think competition is going to be good for this group because I think they all want to prove something. But I just don't know if Al Golden can get everybody the snaps they need to make a decision. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean that's what he gets paid to do, right? He's gonna have to figure out a way to make it work. That's the roster. They know, especially with Stewart and Howell, if they want to bring those guys along and develop them, they're going to have to get reps. The preseason for the defensive ends, I think, is going to be, I would say, it's probably the biggest battle in my opinion, just for who that second guy is going to be. I know you went through the depth chart. I would not be surprised if that changes 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I don't
throughout the preseason.
Yeah, this was like before they reported this morning.
Right.
This is what because they got Jonathan Allen as the right defensive tackle, which once B.J. Hill comes back,
and we'll talk Allen will be the rotation guy.
We'll talk about that here in a minute. But yeah, so I guess our next thing with this defense is what are you expecting from this defense? I know you alluded to it a little bit. If we can get about 20 to 25 sacks from our edge guys, and then a few from the interior, a couple from safety. If we can get over 35, 40 sacks this year, I think that would be great. It'd be great for the secondary.
Too. Yeah.
Right. So what other expectations do you have of this defense?
They need to be, I've been going back and forth on kind of the number where they need to be, but I think that they need to be a top 20 defense, but particularly against the run, they need to be a top 15 run defense. Because we know the offense is going to put up points, and we need the offense to have the ball. So if teams are able to run on you, that keeps our offense on the sideline, and we don't want that. So they have to be better against the run, obviously, but I think they have to be a top half team against the run. If they're not that, it's going to be a lot more shootouts, a lot more pressure on the offense to not make any mistakes. There's not going to be any cushion. So, against the run, I think they have to be that top 16, top 18 type of defense.
Well, we saw how
top 20 defense overall.
Yeah, we saw how the shootouts went last year.
Right. Right. I saw a stat the other day. I think it was James Rapine tweeted it out. The Bengals the last 2 years, when they scored 33 or more points, are 6-7. They're under 500 when they score 33.
Yeah, I can't remember.
The rest of the NFL, including the Bengals, only has 13 losses. The Bengals are responsible for more than half the losses when teams score 33 points. Right.
Yeah,
it's insane.
And that should be right there in the defensive meeting room.
That should be the first thing the defense sees every single game.
Exactly.
It's the record when the team scores 30 or more points.
Yep, exactly.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah. All right, we do have couple of early injury news just to report on. B.J. Hill, like I mentioned before, is out. And then Josh Caddis, the, undrafted tight end from Kentucky, son of Eric Caddis, former Bengals tight end, is out as well. And then they've got, Stewart listed as questionable and Chris Jenkins listed as questionable. Everybody on the offense seems to be, you got Eric Allen questionable and Connor Liu questionable heading into day one. I think this is just minor camp issues. It's nothing to be really concerned about, because I think BJ is just more precaution coming off, some.
He's an older guy. Just you
Yeah,
don't need. He
came
knows what he
off.
needs to do.
He had some surgery at the end of the year, and it's just those kind of things. And this is what happened last year too, right? He had some time off, and a lot of teams are doing that around the league. Pittsburgh just put their cornerbacks on the PUP right now, so it happens. And then I guess the number 5 thing, I guess it would be a concern if, especially for BJ, if it lingers through the preseason, right? And he hasn't gotten any reps or anything on that. I mean, then I guess the 5th and final thing that we're watching, biggest storylines, is the pressure on Zach Taylor. Is this, the biggest season of his career? Or in other words, or could this be like his last season if he doesn't get it right here in Cincinnati?
I think it needs to be. I mean, 3 straight years of missing the playoffs. I think we have to have higher standards than that. If he misses 4 straight, you just have to have higher standards as an NFL franchise. You just have to. I don't even think Marvin never missed 4 straight. I don't believe. I don't think he did. His first 2 they didn't make it, then they did, and then the next 2 seasons he didn't, but then they did in 2009, and then 2010 they didn't, but then he went 5 straight years, and then after 3 straight years of missing it, that's when they let him go.
Yeah,
he never got that 4th year. So
right.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if we miss the playoffs again, it's got to be a complete the whole organization, top to bottom, from Tobin, Taylor, Al Golden, everybody's got to go.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know if you caught any of the mock turtle soup. I know,
right? Mike Brown didn't
speak. This is the first time, so
yeah.
The regime is changing, but even Duke Tobin said, when he was asked, well, who's responsible for the roster, he said, eventually, I'm the fall guy, right, or something similar to that. Paraphrasing it, he said it lands on him. Okay, so that means he's the one making the majority of the decisions. Him and Zach, and I know they said they collaborate and everything, but if the defense sucks again, the media, us included, need to be all in on Duke Tobin. Your job performance is not very good here, son. You need to hire some more people to help you in the scouting department so that you can make better picks and more successful picks, like you did when you first took over. This kind of thing. When you first got promoted, that player development or whatever it's called. But yeah, I think. I think this could be Zach's swan song here in Cincinnati if he doesn't produce. And I just getting to the playoffs, I don't think is good enough.
I don't think so.
It has to be AFC Championship game or not. Because I mean, if you win, if you get to the playoffs and you lose in the wild card round,
we've seen them get to the Super Bowl, get to the AFC Championships. We know that they're capable of doing this with this offensive core.
Yeah.
There's no reason why they can't do it again, why they shouldn't be expected to do it again. Anything short of that is a failure.
Right. And to Zach's credit, I mean, this offense has been really good. It has been really good. I know there's, we throw our heads up and discuss at times because we could probably, not so much last year, but in the years past, we could pretty much, okay, this is going to be a run. This is going to be this little screen class here, bubble screen type thing. I mean, and if we can sit at home saying, okay, this is what's coming, NFL defensive coordinators already know, and that, that gives credit to our players and playmaking abilities to still make the plays when everybody knows what's coming. So yeah, it's just one of those things. So now we're going to move into camp battles we are watching. And my number 1, I think, is wide receiver 3. Let's talk about that. Who do you think will win that?
I think Yoshi's going to have the leg up. I think he's going to be the guy that they're expecting to win that job and probably hoping will win it.
Right.
I mean, Charlie Jones has been here for a little bit now. He he should, be in the running for it. I'm trying to pull up the receivers here.
So you got.
I mean, Mitch Tinsley, I really liked him last preseason. In the regular season when he got his opportunities, he didn't really do too much.
Right.
But I mean, that's a guy that, may have a shot at being wide receiver 3 as well. I would say those 3 guys would be.
Well, I will say that Burrow was impressed with that Colby Young out of Georgia, right?
Yeah.
And right now on the depth chart, he's backing up Jamar, but a lot of people were saying he could be, if Yossi doesn't do what he's supposed to be doing, that could be the camp battle right there is, and I know he would be a bigger slot. I mean, he's like 6'5". And
yeah, but if you have that, you can put Jamar in the slot.
You could.
Good.
But I like what they have done with Jamar. I mean, they put him all over the place
last year.
Moved him all over the place because that's what you have to do, right? I mean, Justin Jefferson doesn't just stand in one spot; he moves all over the place, and I think that is, part of the maturation.
You create the matchups you want.
Yeah, right. The maturation process of Zach Taylor and Dan Pritchard as a play calling coaches. So wide receiver 3 is a key. I like Charlie Jones, but I don't think he steps up to, Chuck Sizzle.
I don't think so either.
I don't think
he's been here for a while.
Yeah.
So
I think, he's probably going to be our punt returner.
He's going to be the punt returner. So he's making the team just because of the punt return and kick return aspect. So, I mean, you'd like to see him get a chance as, third receiver.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I don't think he ends up.
Yeah. And then, another, I wouldn't say it's a battle, but it's just would be interesting to see who they keep. If they, I was kind of looking forward to this Caddis kid, legacy, Bengal legacy, had a decent career at, Kentucky, but, right now you got Gesicki, he's your number 1. And, then we got, Drew Samples, Tanner Hudson, and then Eric All Jr., which, if he can ever stay healthy,
if he can bounce back,
he would be, he could be, the Iowa tight ends type of stuff.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, but I don't see a battle there at all unless All is healthy. And then,
even then, though, they all have their specific roles. We know Gesicki is someone that they can split out wide as the pass catching guy. Sample's more of the H-back. You bring him in when you need to run, and twice a year you throw him a little dump down that he gets 6 yards, And Tanner Hudson is kind of
goal line
a mix
guy
between the two. Yeah. I don't want to say do-it-all because that implies he's good, but he's a mix between the two that is a good backup option for both.
Right.
And so, I mean, you kind of need that. They don't really have a traditional tight end.
Well, Eric All
would be that guy. Yeah.
Right. He would be that guy. So hopefully he can come back healthy and be that guy for us. All right. And then the last one, I mean, we alluded to this when we were talking about the defense, but the other battle is the defensive end rotation. I think that would be the one to keep an eye on, see how Murphy and Stewart and the rookie Howell perform.
Yeah. I mean, we touched on it. To me, that's probably the number one most important. And I don't know how that'll play out. I didn't anticipate, even going into the regular season, it'll be a pretty steady rotation until somebody separates themselves. If I had to guess, that would be my prediction. Still, by week 2 or 3, you're not necessarily sure who that second guy is.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I think Murphy will get the majority of the playing time.
Yeah, I think they'll give him the most opportunity to become the guy.
Right. I think he'll get at least.
By Hal.
Yep. I agree right there with you. All right. Our next segment is a buy or sell. This is going to be a rapid fire type of segment. I've got 5 buy or sell questions, son, and I want you to tell me if you're buying or selling it and just a quick reason why. Okay. So our first buy or sell, Joe Burrow wins the MVP.
Buy if the Bengals win the division. So there's a small cap.
Okay.
I'm going to buy it.
All right. That was mine. I said Bengals have to win the division in order for Joe to be MVP because everybody loves Josh Allen.
Yep, they love Allen. They love Lamar. If Mahomes can come back and do some things, you already know how it's going to play.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Buy or sell number 2, the Bengals finished with 12-plus wins.
I'll buy it.
Okay.
I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful. But it's going to come down to
Wait a minute. Did you say hopeful?
Yep.
That is the curse of every Cincinnati fan, because that is what this organization and the Reds organization bank their money on, is fans are hopeful.
But I mean, they did go out and they improved the defense as far as I'm concerned.
On paper,
they didn't just sit.
We'll see.
They didn't, on paper they did, but they didn't just sit pat like they have the last 2 years and hope guys get better.
Yeah.
They're not hoping. We're hoping now. So.
Well, they're still hoping that the linebacker core gets better.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, because that's the problem, right? If our pass rush is good and our run defense line, can stuff the run a little bit, and our secondary is playing well, that intermediate spot where the tight end just circles up and, a boom or a slot receiver goes in there and our linebackers are colliding
they're running into each other.
Or they're going the wrong way. Yeah, that's like, oops. Then I say we play with no linebackers and just go.
Yeah, just a bunch of safeties out there, and
put extra rushers in to say, hey, you got to leave somebody in to block these guys, or else we're getting to you.
Yeah, yeah. Just play with five linemen and 6 DBs,
something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Buy or sell 3. The Bengals have a top 12 defense.
I'm going to sell that one. And I don't think they're going to be that good. I mean, I mentioned it. I think they need to be a top half, but I don't think they're going to be quite that good.
If they are top 12, it's probably Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's probably Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's,
It would be disappointing if their defense is that good.
And then our offense flutters. All right. Buy or sell number 4. A rookie becomes an opening day starter.
I'm going to sell it. I don't know who it would be. It's kind of my concern. Maybe Sicario Davis at corner. Maybe he wins one of the quarterback spots. I don't see it being Cassius Howell. We didn't have a first-round pick, so I don't see it really being anybody else.
Yeah, like I said, if Josevich doesn't produce and keeps dropping the ball and Colby Young steps up, I could see him starting. And then was it Connor Liu? He would only start if Karras got injured. Right. Yeah. That's the thing. And we don't want that. So we are not even going to talk about it. So yeah. And then buy or sell number 5. The NFC North is the toughest division again.
AFC North.
Or AFC North, sorry.
I'm gonna sell that. I don't think the Steelers are gonna be as good. I think it's a 2-dog race between the Ravens and us this year. And I think the Steelers are kind of bringing up.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's going to be even worse.
Right, because they got rid of the best player in the NFL.
Yeah, got rid of the best player in the division. So right. I mean, they're not going to be better.
No.
They're talking about a quarterback battle between Deshaun Watson and freaking Sanders. So
right.
Yeah. Good luck.
Good luck with that. Yep.
They'll still beat us once, but
they probably will. But hey, at least it won't be the first game of the year. Yeah. And the other thing that we have to, we've got 3 brand new coaches in the AFC North.
Yeah.
Granted, Steelers coach McCarthy has been a head coach, but the other 2,
first timers.
All right. We are now moving into our bold predictions, and we're going to have, after this segment, we will have our trivia, and then we'll have an opportunity for you to chime in, the audience, the listeners, and you can tell us a few of your bold predictions and which camp battle interests you the most. So, bold predictions. The way this is going to work, Sam and I are each going to give 3 predictions, and we'll take turns going back and forth, and we're going to be bold about it. And then we are going to write these down, and we will come back and check in on these periodically through the season. So, Sam, I'm going to let you go first. What is your bold prediction number 1?
Prediction number 1, Joe Burrow is going to throw for more than 45 passes.
All right. Burrow's comment, he said 48 touchdowns, is a possibility. So, yeah, I think, I'm going Jamar Chase sets the all-time franchise single season yard from scrimmage record. What's your second one?
I'm going to one up that. I'm going to say Jamar Chase sets the single season NFL receiving yards this year. Breaks Calvin Johnson's record.
All right, I'll one up that. I'm going to say the Bengals defense will finish in 12 or better overall. Hey, we're talking bold predictions here. Bold, all right? Not some play it safe with Jamar Chase again, but bold predictions. Top 12 or better.
Here's one.
All right.
Zach Taylor, Coach of the Year. Earns himself an extension.
Let's see. My last one will be. All right. This is bold because of what I said previously. I'm with the Browns, but I'm going to say we sweep the division.
6-0.
6-0 versus AFC North.
When's the last time we did that? Was it that 09 year?
Oh.
I think we did it in maybe 05. One of the Carson Palmer playoff years, I'm pretty sure we did.
Probably the year we should have won the Super Bowl. If
that would have been 05.
Yeah. Kiki Van, dirty player.
And Olhoffen,
Pittsburgh Steelers dirty players doing that. All right, so that's our bold predictions. You out there in listening land, hold us accountable. Chime in, let us know where we are totally off our rockers, and totally not. All right, so I got a trivia question for you, and this has to do with one of my bold predictions. I said that Jamar Chase will have the single season total yards from scrimmage record after this year. So my question to you and all of you out there listening is, who is the current Cincinnati Bengals single season total yards from scrimmage leader? 1,773 total yards.
Thinking it's probably.
I can't hear you. You cut in and out.
My first guess would be Corey.
No, Corey Dillon is in third place with 1,609. Jamar Chase was second with 1,740.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be a run. It's not Corey Dillon. What about Brooks?
James Brooks is the correct answer. Ring of Honor. He is being
that.
Huh?
What year, He
did that in 1986, 1,773, 1,087 rushing yards and 686 receiving yards.
What is that for?
And he did that across 16 games.
Yeah.
So Jamar, he got that extra game. So,
it's a little harder, though, because Jamar's not going to get the rushing yards to go along.
Correct. Right. I mean, he only had 32.
Yeah, right.
the year that, those type of things. All right. So our final drive here, we're going to do some, we'll save that for our pre-season or our season award totals and stuff like that. So we are going to ask you fans, your poll, which camp battle interests you the most? The wide receiver 3, the tight end camp battle, the running back, the pass rush, or the offensive line battle? Let us know in the comments below. Just go ahead and drop it out there, or you can chime in on our Instagram or Twitter page at Cincy Sports Scene with that. So you got anything else for the good of the order?
I've got just a little FC Cincinnati note. They lost to Columbus 2-1. What was it, last Saturday? Their defense has been horrible. I saw a stat. All of last year, they only gave up 40 goals. This season, they've already given up 40 goals. It's been a complete 180 as far as their defense is concerned, which is not great. I thought that was actually kind of a ridiculous stat that halfway through the season, they've given up as many goals as they did all last year. They definitely have their work cut out for. I mean, they're still in a decent spot. I think they're like 4th or 5th in the East. They've been scoring a lot of goals, but they need to find something in the transfer market here, the transfer deadline, to shore up that defense. That's for sure.
Well, if FC Cincinnati's defense is starting to go, not very good, maybe
the Bengals can.
The Bengals down on, Pete Rose Way, Paul Brown Way, whatever it's called down there, by Paycor Stadium, their defense might find a little magic in that. All right, that about wraps us up here for episode number 178. Training camp is finally underway next week. Okay, we may even have some actual practice to break down a little bit, standout performers, injuries, if hopefully there's none, and overreactions as well. If you enjoyed today's episode, like that video again for us, subscribe to the channel, share with other Bengal fans. Remember, football season is back, and Houday Nation is ready. For Sam, I'm Dave. Everybody, have a wonderful week. Take care.